Dang, weatherman lied, y'all. Weatherman lied. Said that there was clear. Said it was clear across Snoqualmie. There's my chains up there. Make sure I got them. And Christmas Day, probably gonna have to chain up on Snoqualmie because the weatherman lied. Well, I ain't the only one. Got them all lining up over here in the chain up area. I ain't the only one that got fooled. We all got lied to. And we all fixing to throw chains on in this snow. You wanna know why we make what we do? Y'all think this is easy? Here are my chains. More of my chains. And everybody lined up down through here. You earn your money on days like this. I'm gonna teach y'all how to chain. All right, in a commercial vehicle, you have to do your outside drives. All right, so you're gonna have 4 up here, and then you're gonna do 1 axle of the trailer on the outside. All right, so it'll be 6 chains. They require 5. They require 1 on the trailer, but I do one axle on each side. So I do 6, all right? And then when you lay your chains out to inspect them, you put your dogs on the outside. These are the dogs. That's your locking mechanism. Stretch your chain out. Make sure it ain't got no twist in it. It's gotta be straight or it won't go on the tire correctly. And then you'll come over here and you grab the middle of the chain. I'm gonna grab the middle of the chain on the inside and I'm gonna set it up on top of this tire right here. That's what it's gonna look like sitting on the tire. Now notice it's not latched. I'm gonna do all my tires and then I'm gonna pull the truck forward a few feet and then I'm gonna latch them. Don't forget, you're gonna get dirty. All right, I'm all chained up. I got all 4 outside drives and 1 trailer tire on each side. I've been out here about 45 minutes. And you can see how much snow's piled on the trailer. It's coming down pretty quick. Gonna go ahead and get loaded up and get out of here. That's not the best chain up video, but I hope it helps some of you guys out. Y'all take care, stay safe, and Merry Christmas. Well, that's an exciting Christmas, ain't it? Now, I'm going to tell you, I don't advise putting chains on and doing all that. And, I mean, if I had my way, I would have stayed down there on the other end and just waited. Because the load I got don't deliver till tomorrow morning anyway. I could have waited in Ellensburg and come across early in the morning. And maybe they would have had it cleared up by then. And probably still been on time. But I thought I could beat it. And before I left Ellensburg, there was no chain law. And I knew there was some weather coming, but it wasn't supposed to start getting bad till later. So I thought I could beat it across there and get down and wait near where I'm supposed to deliver the next day, right? Well, I was wrong. And once you're up there, you're committed to it because state police are not going to let you stay on the side of the road in the chain-up area. They come through there checking. They make sure you have your stuff. They make sure you're putting it on. You know, so, I mean, once you're there, you're committed to it. You ain't got no choice, so. I was committed to it. I threw the chains on. I'll tell you a little crazy story of something that happened while I was there. A guy that was parked behind me came up and asked me if I could help him because he was having trouble with his. And I told him, yeah, I'll come help you out. So I walked back there to where he's at, kind of show him on one of his tires, and then he could take it from there. I get back there and I realize he's a trainer. He has a student with him. I believe it was Prime. I don't remember. It was pouring down snow and I wasn't really paying that close of attention. It was a reefer. I believe it was Prime, but not 100% certain. And I was kind of in shock, you know, like, you're a trainer and you don't know how to chain up, you're all the way to this point that you're having to put on chains, and you're over here in front of your student having to go get someone else to come show you how to do it. And he had him on there. He had him on there sort of correctly, halfway correctly. He had the cams on the outside, but he had the dogs down. You always want the dogs up. I didn't show you in the video. I had called the cams the dogs because I was just cold and in a hurry. But you always want those cams on the outside. And then your dogs it's the link that holds your cross chain on each end. All right. And it's got a bend in it. The way it's done on the chain, it has a bend in it. You always want that bend up, because if the bend's down, it can tear into your tire. It can mess your tires up. So you always want the cams on the outside and the dogs up. But anyhow, he had the cams on the outside, but he had the dogs down. So he needed to take it off and turn it around. And as I was explaining it to him, it was like he wasn't understanding, but his student was. And I was just like, man, the student's got more snap. The student was catching on to exactly what I was saying. And even he kind of stepped in there trying to explain to him what I was saying. But he wasn't catching it at all. So showed him with that one tire. And then I went back to mine. I was about done. I was already putting bungees on mine at that time. And if you're going to chain up, you need to keep some bungees on you. It doesn't matter if you drive a drive-in or a reefer or what you drive. Luckily in a flatbed, we've always got bungees. That's what we put our tarps on with, secure them with. So, but if you're going to put on chains, you need to have bungees. Without them, you'll probably lose your chains. Your chains will come off. So you always want to keep that in mind. Now, as you can see, I'm going pretty slow. I don't think I ever got above 20. I think I stayed pretty much right below 20. I even get down to like 10 or 11 a couple different times. My steers just were not acting right. It's hard to tell in the video, but as I was turning, it was taking them a little while to react. There was a few times I thought it was going to continue going straight and put me in the wall, even with the chains on. Later in this video, you're going to see a car about lose it in front of me. That was a pretty close call. So you really need to be going slow anyway. And when you got chains on, I can't remember exactly what the bags say, but the bags will tell you what the max speed or whatever that they recommend. I think it's 35. It's either 35 or 45. So you want to stay under that anyway. Now, they had the speed limit down to 35 when I was crossing anyhow, but I don't think hardly anybody was doing it. So I know I wasn't. I don't think I ever got above 20. It took me a couple hours to get across Snoqualmie. It added some time. Plus, on the other end, I had to take the chains off and all that kind of crap. So it's not really worth it. But if you get caught up in it, it's good to know how to do it. Now, when you're driving with these chains on, you can't just automatically assume that you're going to have great traction and you don't have to worry about anything. You do have things to worry about. And you want to watch your mirrors to make sure you don't lose any chains. If something goes wrong, one of them breaks or it wasn't on there correctly, it'll come off. And then you're going to have a problem because that road needs them. I was losing it even with the chains on. And you also are going to see other people's chains in the road. Here I was having a hard time because it was snowing pretty good, so they were getting covered up pretty quickly. But if you see chains in the road, you don't want to just directly run over them. You want to try to avoid them if you can. Move to the right, move to the left, try to high center them. You don't want to run over them. They get caught up on your chains, and then they get spun up. They could end up in your drive shaft. I mean, there's all kinds of things that could happen and go wrong. Pick them chains up. So just try to avoid them if you see chains. I guarantee you there's going to be chains all over the place. I've seen people come through the day after and just pick up chains out of the road. They'll go resell them or do what they do with them, make a little extra money. Well, that's pretty much a little breakdown. Now, if you need more detail on chaining or putting socks on, I have some older videos you can search. goes into more detail of how to put chains on or how to put socks on, either or. I've done a video on both. Also, I have a couple different winter driving videos, tips for driving in the wintertime. If you want to see those, hope y'all are doing well. Hope y'all's Christmas went better than mine. Mine was pretty dang near a disaster here, and I jinxed myself anyway, because right before I took off, I just got out of the shower and I was fresh and ready to go. And now I'm covered from head to toe in snow, mud, and dirt, wet. It sucks, but I guess I just jinxed myself. Anyhow, hope y'all are doing good. Hope y'all had a great Christmas. Y'all stay safe, take care, and keep trucking. These cops up here in Washington are tag teaming them, man. They're pulling them over back to back. I'm over here in the chain off area getting ready to take these chains off. I don't know if they were over there getting ready to put them on or if they're pulling them over like that, but as you can see, they got two of them. You got to watch these Democrat states, man. They're looking for funding. They're going to try to get it from a driver.